Mr. Meadors, first off, thank you for taking the time to speak with me. I appreciate it.
Riley, thank you also, man. And it's nice to see you again.
You too. I know you spent 6 long, grueling weeks in Colleton County like myself. Talk about the preparation for this trial. It's such a big trial for South Carolina, and you got to be a part of the team. I mean, what went into the preparation, and talk about how it went?
Well, first of all, I was honored to be asked by Attorney General Alan Wilson to join this team. Tremendous about preparation. They had been working a long time before I got involved, obviously. And once I got involved, obviously I started reading the statements, looking at the interviews, and was, thank goodness, had some summaries that some of the great investigators and staff at the Attorney General's office has done. But it's like anything, hard work, reading, preparing yourself. And it was a truly team effort. And I'm not just saying that, from everybody, the whole administrative team, the lawyers working together, or this wouldn't have been successful. And also law enforcement working with us and on a daily basis. It was a lot of work. It's fun. It's what I love doing, but it was clearly a lot of work.
I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've been on both sides of this. I believe if you're a former solicitor, and you're a defense, or have been a defense attorney. Is that correct?
It has. Most of my career has been prosecuting. I've been prosecuting part of that time for the last 12 years prior to this. I've been prosecuting and doing some defense work at the same time. The majority of my work's been prosecuting, but I have defended also for the last 10 to 12 years.
So, I mean, talk about the aspect that brings in. I mean, you have a lot of experience, and I think, one of the questions going into this was, does the state have enough experience to prosecute a case of this size in South Carolina? So, you have kind of seen both worlds of it. What was your takeaway?
Well, this is a great group of lawyers and support staff. They were capable and without question to handle this case. I've been prosecuting for a long time, as these lawyers have, and that experience, I think, helped me. Some of the criminal defense work has helped me, but primarily I've been a prosecutor my whole life, and those are kind of the skills I've brought into it. I've been doing mostly murders my whole career, and love doing it. It's the probably the worst time in folks' life, but to help them get through that, victims, and try to get justice, that's very rewarding. But again, this was an outstanding team, very capable of handling this. I was just honored I could come in and help in some small way.
John, I think we got to see the different personalities of all the prosecutors on the AG's team throughout the 6 weeks. I think one that sticks out to me was you have you have energy, a lot more energy than maybe some of the other people when they're, questioning and different things. I mean, was there kind of some maybe science behind that? I mean, Creighton, obviously was effective, but he wasn't as, energized as you were. Is that your style? I mean, have you always been kind of energized when you do your questioning and operate in a courtroom?
Well, first of all, I think all the attorneys were fantastic, and I think Mr. Waters did a fantastic job, and he's been described as energized too. I've heard. So I have my own style. I have been doing this for 35 years. I just try to be myself, and once you learn the facts, you kind of become the case. You look at the case, and that's the same way I've tried to case for the last 35 years. And I do get emotional and excited, but that's just who I am. And I love this job. I really do. And I don't plan that. It just happens. And I was excited I could bring that to this case.
Obviously we heard from Dick Harpootlian and Jim Griffin. They kind of attacked the integrity of the investigation throughout the 6-week course. I mean, at any point in your mind, was there concern about that investigative process, or were you guys as a team completely confident in the work that had been done leading up to this trial?
There wasn't in my mind at all. That is a typical strategy. I've called it a smokescreen, in this case, an eclipse. When you have a very good factual case, and I think this was a very strong factual case, a lot of it was circumstantial, but it was great circumstantial evidence in my mind. And as I said, I think in my closing, I said, Alex Murdaugh, through his defense counsel, put everybody on trial, blamed everybody else. First blamed perhaps somebody who was involved in the boat wreck, tried to blame the worker there, tried to blame SLED and David Owens, blamed everybody else, blamed us during the trial. And I actually think law enforcement under these unique circumstances did an outstanding job. I mean, David Owens did a great job. He locked the defendant into 3 statements, June 6th, June 10th, August 15th, that he wasn't able to get out of. He tried to 627 days after his first testimony. But I think what David Owens did at the first was crucial in locking him into that statement. I wasn't down there. So when the kennel videos did come out, it's hard to get around that. And I think the officers too, they tried to attack. I thought Laura Rutland was an incredible witness. She got there and not only described his demeanor and that he could understand, which to me was significant, that we later saw they tried to blame his statements on the drug use and his paranoia. Well, you look at him, look at her interaction and David Owens' interaction, he knew what was going on. And I thought her testimony was powerful, and especially when she described Mr. Murdaugh as clean from head to toe, which was totally inconsistent in my mind with him going and trying to turn his child over, trying to turn Paul over, checking their pulse, checking Maggie, and that's good law enforcement. So yeah, I took offense at them attacking law enforcement. I can't help it, I did, and part of our job, I think, is anybody perfect? No. Is law enforcement perfect? No, nobody is. But I thought overall they did a good job, and I think that backfired on them. I really do.
John, I don't want to keep you too much longer, but one question. Obviously, like we've mentioned, you played a pivotal role in this. You were in depth in this for weeks. I mean, what would you pick out as something that maybe viewers at home couldn't pick up on in this trial, or something that people might not pick up on? Is there any kind of interesting fact or something that might be interesting to highlight?
I was, just the coverage and the magnitude and the folks that were interested in this. Once I really got involved and once we were down there, I was really surprised. I knew with all the twists and the plots that there'd be a lot of coverage, but the whole world was watching apparently, and that, even though I knew it was big, was surprising. Obviously, we had to stay focused, which we did, but that was something that surprised me, and I think it was clear. The other thing, and when I'm reading through a file, when I first read through it, I try to think like a juror. The depth of deception that Alex Murdaugh went to, and literally the sacrificing his wife and son Paul to maintain his station in life, position in life, and lying to his friends, and what he went, the lengths he went to preserve Alex, was just unbelievable. And I think it showed, and I think the jury realized that Alex Murdaugh loved Alex Murdaugh, and he may have loved Paul and Maggie, and I think he did, but he loved himself more. And the other thing is, every day we go in the courtroom, we see you and some of the other wonderful reporters, and I kind of get in a routine. My wife says I'm crazy, but I get in a routine every day, and we're touching elbows and doing all that. And it was like Groundhog every day, Groundhog the movie. But once the gavel went down and the judge said day 20 something, nothing was the same after that. And that was the beauty of it. Everything was different. it was exciting. And the other thing, and a lot of folks have said it, I think, the shining star, shining stars, Bubba, number one, I really think played a crucial role, and you just can't make that up. And Paul, with filming that didn't come out till later, that ultimately called his father, was just pure. And then the other shining star is Judge Newman. I mean, I just think we South Carolina got to show the world this is a graceful iron hand with knowledge, and that's the way you run a courtroom. And I think that spoke louder than anything.